Good evening. Thanks for joining us at Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Toronto police investigating exchange during pro-Palestinian protest inside Eaton Centre. Mississauga gets $113 million in funding from feds for housing. Police officer injured while trying to stop stolen vehicle in Etobicoke. Police credit actions of 3 brave officers who rescued residents from burning home. One marks 1 year since condo mass shooting that left 5 dead. Aurelia, man accused of assaulting officer conducting breathalyzer. Winter snow advisory in effect for tonight.
Those were the headlines, and now let's jump through the details.
Toronto police say they are investigating an interaction between a demonstrator and a citizen during a pro-Palestinian protest inside the Eaton Centre on Sunday evening. Video of the protest circulating online shows a crush of protesters chanting in front of the entrance to fashion retailer Zara. In the video, some protesters with the dark masks covering their faces appear embroiled in a verbal back and forth with another party at the mall. In the video, one protester says to someone, "I will lay you out on the floor," and threatens to put someone 6 feet deep. The other side of the exchange cannot be heard. While a number of officers are present in the video, Toronto police said in a statement that they were not threatened themselves. "We can confirm that a demonstrator and another citizen who was at the mall exchanged words, which you see in a video that's circulating, and officers were keeping them apart." Toronto police said at no time were officers threatened, and we are investigating this incident. TPS said officers used their training to de-escalate the situation, which unfolded as throngs of shoppers flocked to the busy mall to buy presents ahead of Christmas. Last week, Zara pulled advertising images for a new line of jackets that some claimed referenced the Israel-Hamas war. It also issued an apology in which it explained that the campaign was conceived and photographed prior to the onset of the war. However, since then, there have been a number of protests outside storefronts from the Spanish fashion brand in Toronto and elsewhere. During a situation like this, when tensions are high and there are large crowds of people, including the general public, officers must use their best judgment at the time, taking everyone's safety into consideration, police said in this statement on Monday, noting that approximately 150 demonstrators entered the mall. Loud demonstrations around the Israel-Hamas war have been a regular feature in the city for weeks, with some targeting local businesses that are Jewish-owned or which have an affiliation with Israel. A winter weather travel advisory is in effect for this evening in Toronto, with 4 to 8 centimeters of snow expected to blanket the city. Environment Canada predicts the snowfall will cause reduced visibility and icy road conditions beginning this evening into Tuesday morning. Rain showers are expected to quickly change to the snow this afternoon or evening as colder air moves into southern Ontario. A statement by Environment Canada reads, "Snow may become heavy at times with evening or overnight. Increasing northwest winds gusting from 50 to 60 kilometers per hour may result in localized areas of blowing snow in exposed areas." Environment Canada advises travelers to be prepared to adjust driving with changing road conditions this evening and to drive slowly as a sudden change in weather could become hazardous. Drivers should monitor visibility while driving, watch taillights, and be prepared to stop. The city says that it is monitoring the weather forecast and will deploy crews and equipment as required. Snow clearing operations such as road salting and snow clearing will start as soon as snow starts to stick to the pavement, and sidewalk plowing is anticipated to begin early Tuesday morning. The snow will lead into that what Environment Canada is predicting to be Toronto's coldest December day on Tuesday. A low of -4 Celsius is forecasted for that day due to a wind and rain storm hitting the Maritimes early this week. The storm will briefly show a bout of cooler and more seasonable air into southern Ontario to begin the week, according to the Environment Canada. However, the snow is unlikely to stick around. Temperatures are expected to rebound by Wednesday with a mix of sun and cloud. It will warm up to a high of 1 Celsius and a low of -2 Celsius, with cloudy periods expected overnight. A high of 4 Celsius is predicted for Thursday, with the warmer trend carrying through a Christmas day. According to Awaz News, meteorologist Bill Coulter, this warmer weather pattern might just last through to the end of the year. Thursday will see a mix of sun and cloud with cloudy periods into the night. There will be a high of 0 and low of -2 Celsius. The weekend will begin to warm up again, with temperatures expected to remain in the positives. There will be a high of 2 Celsius and a low of 1 Celsius Friday, and a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. Cloudy periods are expected overnight. The rest of the weekend is expected to be cloudy with a high of 4 Celsius on Saturday and a low of 2 Celsius. Christmas Eve on Sunday is expected to be degree warmer and cloudy still, with the temperature expected to reach a high of 5 Celsius. The city of Awaz is marking 1 year since a gunman opened fire at a condominium building in Maple, killing 5 people and seriously injuring one another. Shots rang out at Bellaria condominiums at 9235 Jane Street north of Rutherford Road on the evening of December 18, 2022. Police responded and fatally shot a 73-year-old gunman, a man who lived in the building and had a long-running dispute with a condo board over complaints about vibrations coming from the electrical room under his unit. Those killed in the shooting include Rita Camilray, Victoria Panza, Navi Dada, Helen Lauren Manock, and Russell Manock. Doreen DiNino was injured but survived. 3 of the victims were on the condo board, and police said they believed the shooter targeted them because of the dispute. It was a horrific day from which we will never fully heal, warned Mayor Stephen Del Duca said in the statement Monday. Despite the pain of this heinous act, our city came together in support of the victims' families and each other. Del Duca said that in wake of the mass shooting, York Region has allocated further funding to victim services and that the city continues to work with the police and others to ensure that the community is safe. The memorial was unveiled at Juliet Park across the street from the condo building this past summer to remember the victims. We imagined an installation that would allow the memories of the victims to live on, not just in our hearts, but surrounded by a beautiful landscape within sight of that home they loved. The city has arranged for the site to be lit year-round as a tribute that will never dim, just as our memories of them will not fade, Del Duca said. He added that it feels like yesterday and that there are simply no words that adequately convey how heartbroken we remain. Flags have been lowered to have massed at City of Awaz facilities today to remember the victims. A suspected impaired driver is facing numerous charges after he allegedly assaulted a police officer during the administration of a breathalyzer test and then fled the scene in his vehicle. Police say that officers were dispatched to the Champlain Street area in Aurelia at around 10:25 p.m. on December 16 for reports of a motor vehicle causing property damage. By the time officers arrived on scene, the vehicle was gone, but police say that it later returned to the area. An officer spoke with its driver. As a result of interaction, the officer demanded that the driver provide a sample of his breath into a screening device, police say. It is alleged that the driver then assaulted the officer while they attempted to conduct the test. The driver then left the immediate area in his vehicle soon after his vehicle was located, and the driver had left on foot. A news release issued by police states he was located and arrested a short time later and secured into police custody. A suspect identified as 31-year-old Aurelia resident Tyler Harrington is facing 7 charges in connection with the incident. Police say that as a result of those charges, Harrington's license has been suspended for 90 days. He is scheduled to appear in court in January. The federal government has confirmed its housing funding for the city of Mississauga after strong mayor powers were used to reverse council's decision on 4 home units, a decision that could have cost the municipality millions. On Monday, officials said that Mississauga would get nearly $113 million as part of an agreement to fast-track over 3,000 housing units over 3 years. The money comes from the Housing Accelerator Fund, a $4 billion pledged by the Justin Trudeau government meant to incentivize municipalities to update their zoning and permit systems to allow for faster construction of housing. As part of the agreement with Mississauga, the city will use the funding to support affordable housing, accelerate approval turnaround times, contribute to a review of land to unlock density, and expanding permissions to increase the missing middle housing in existing residential neighborhoods. In a statement ongoing, Mayor Bonnie Crombie thanked the federal government for funding. In October, Crombie used her executive power to reverse a council decision that would have made the city exempt from the funding. The motion referred the idea of allowing fourplexes to be built as right back to staff for further consideration instead of implementing it outright. At the time, Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities Sean Fraser said the city should be getting rid of antiquated approaches to zoning and indicated that Mississauga's application for funding would be rejected as a result. Crombie said that by using her powers to ensure fourplexes are allowed to be built will not only aid with the city's funding eligibility but will also allow for much needed housing to be built in our neighborhoods for the next generation. Multiple Ontario municipalities have also signed agreements with the federal government, including London $74 million and Vaughan $59 million. While city officials may welcome the funding, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has criticized the federal government by bypassing provincial jurisdiction. Many Ontario municipalities are eligible for provincial funding in addition to the money being offered by the federal government. A $1.2 billion fund was set by the Ford government over the summer to help cities reach provincially set housing targets. The government said municipalities that achieve 80% or more of their annual target will be able to access the funding. A police officer was injured while trying to stop a stolen vehicle outside an Etobicoke apartment building on Monday morning. The incident occurred at around 5:30 a.m. on Eva Road near the West Mall. According to investigators, officers attempted to stop a vehicle and it rolled over while the driver was trying to flee. The two occupants of the vehicle were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. An officer was also transported with minor injuries. Officers assigned to the Provincial Carjacking Task Force observed a stolen vehicle. The officers attempted to strategically box the vehicle in the order to prevent a pursuit, and at that time the driver rolled the car in an attempt to get away. Officers pulled the two occupants so safely and subsequently arrested them. Acting Duty Inspector Errol Watson told reporters at the scene. Police say that a total of 4 cars were damaged as a result of the incident, though no other injuries were reported. Watson said that police are still in the middle of the investigation and do not have any additional information to release at this time. There are no suspects outstanding, he said. Police are crediting the actions of 3 brave officers who they say entered a burning building in Vaughan last week to pull residents to safety. The officers were dispatched to the home near Langstaff Road and Ansleigh Grove shortly after 10 p.m. on December 14. Police said that the officers got to the scene prior to the arrival of firefighters and soon learned that residents were still inside.
This was all from us today. I'm Kubra Ali, and I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.